Good day, Ms. Van Beek. How are you? Hope you're well. You're speaking, it's Romeo Jacobs here, and my student number is 219-3699-82. I chose the topic reading readiness approach because I found a lot of interest and excitement in it, and I feel like it's a lot challenging when it comes to you as a pre-primary teacher. How you master to introduce your learner to reading readiness approach. But that being said, I will be talking about the reading readiness approach, and then I'll be talking about my teaching age and how they align with my work sheet or my work activity that I included with the presentation for today. So yeah, so my reading readiness approach is personally for me it's the foundation as a learner. You as an educator, you involve, you transform, and you introduce your learner into reading. And how you do it, it's very important, because if you do it in a harsh way, you will scare your learner off, and your learner will never find it exciting or learning or find it that much fun or get encouraged for themselves to do it. So that being said, I don't believe that's one size fits all. Every person is different. You can't put an expectation down when you start teaching your learners on a certain topic when it comes to you teaching them the reading readiness approach. The reading readiness approach is the foundation, like I said, in the learner's academic field. So if you do mess up as you start off with your learner in the reading readiness phase, you will 100% be doing something wrong to your learner. I also find the top down, the bottom up, and the interacting models. Those three, I find them very interesting. The fact that how they align. When you talk about the bottom down, you talk about the grammar, you talk about how they're decoding it, you're talking about how you introduce your phonics to your learners. And when you talk about now your interacting skills, your interactive model, you talk about how both the top down and the bottom up align with each other. You talk about how the learner can now construct meaning from texts, like a text message. And and you can also allow I also find it very interesting that the reading readiness approach is not just about you reading something, but it's about you making your whole theme exciting. Like you can have your theme where you can put down the my story theme, and the learners will know every time it's story time they will go sit at that side of the class. Or you can make flashcards and images for them to make it more understanding and make it more fun and intriguing, exciting for them when they're sad, how the sad faces look and how the word look here. And I also find this one very interesting. I had this where I could now show the learners this picture, and now I can ask them who can identify what they see there. They can see a mommy, they can see a baby, they can see another baby with his daddy, balloons, trees, grass, the sun, the yellow, the blue sky, etc. And then you can move, and I added the pictures. So now they can see how the balloon looks, how this word sky looks, etc. And I also can now make it more clear to them by telling them, look, there's daddy, and there's a mommy also. It's a park, and there was nice slides that they were playing on, and the sky were blue, and the clouds were beautiful and white and open, and the grass was green. So you can teach them all this, or you can even introduce them to a storybook. And this one I like because this one I grew up with. This way it looks a little bit ugly, but this one is the one I grew up with. Let me quickly get a nice one. Yeah, oops. Yeah, they will find the picture this side so much interesting while you read this out loud with correct, with so much enthusiasm and charisma in your voice, so that they can be intrigued in your reading story. And through these pictures, they can actually learn family bonding. They can observe and use their imagination to think a bit broader. They can hear on my vocabulary as a teacher, and they can learn how it's being pronounced. They can learn about the nature, the parks, and cross motor skills, more important, because that's what's happening in the park. And this will also help with communication. So now they will be telling me about their experiences, what happened, and how they felt when they were there. And now I would also just like to go through the activity. Okay. So the activity is like this. I will ask them to identify how socks looks, and then they will show me. And then I will write it on the board for them, beautiful, on a lower primary alphabet. You will write your word in that dotted line. And it will also help them little by little to structure their fingers, because you need to always help them practice their fingers. Before, you always, like when I was doing my SVS, I used to, before I first do my rhyme, and then I would always ask them to stand up and just do this a bit and try and drop, put 10 fingers up, the 10 monkeys we're first gonna sing, and then we're gonna drop one finger. And most of them couldn't even drop their fingers, and that's how they got good at it, because the time when I left, I saw most of them could use their fingers now. So yeah, that was just something extra. But thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a splendid day.